Imagine this: a janitor dies with $8 million in the bank. At the same exact time, a brilliant doctor who earned millions in his lifetime dies completely broke. Same world, same economy, same opportunities, two completely opposite outcomes. Why? It wasn't intelligence, it wasn't luck, it wasn't even how much they earned. It was how they thought about money. That single difference in psychology separated a quiet fortune from total financial ruin. This is the untold story most finance books refuse to tell you. Welcome to the infinite library. Get ready, because today you're listening to the full audiobook of The Psychology of Money, the book that finally explains why smart people do stupid things with money and how you can stop. Chapter 1. The Psychology Behind Money. Why behavior beats knowledge. What if the most important skill in money is not how much you know, but how you behave when no one is watching? Most people spend years studying spreadsheets, returns, interest rates, and investment strategies. They read books, watch videos, and follow financial experts. Yet they still make terrible money decisions: overspending, panic selling, chasing trends, or never saving enough. They blame bad luck or bad advice, never realizing the one thing that actually controls their financial outcomes: their own hidden psychology. Discover why behavior is 80% of financial success, and learn the first mindset shift that separates the truly wealthy from everyone else. A shift that has nothing to do with intelligence or math. Warren Buffett's longtime partner Charlie Munger built billions not by being the smartest investor in the room, but by mastering the psychology of patience, rationality, and knowing when to do nothing. His greatest financial weapon was not complex models. It was understanding how human behavior really works with money. Welcome to Chapter 1 of The Psychology of Money, your full-length audiobook. From the Infinite Library. Tonight, we are going to explore something far more powerful than any investment formula or stock tip. We are going to explore the hidden psychology that actually drives how people behave with money. The invisible force that explains why two people with the same income can end up with completely different financial lives. This is not another get-rich-quick book filled with spreadsheets and charts. This is deep, critical thinking wisdom about the one thing that matters most: human behavior. Because here is the uncomfortable truth most financial education never teaches you: knowledge is not the same as behavior. You can know everything about compound interest, diversification, and index funds, and still be broke. You can have an IQ of 160 and still make terrible money decisions. You can read every finance book ever written and still feel anxious about money. Why? Because money is not a math problem. Money is a psychology problem. The way you behave with money, your fears, your greed, your need for status, your tolerance for risk, your patience, your ego, matters far more than how much you know about money. This is the contextual agitation that quietly ruins more lives than any market crash ever could. People treat money like a pure numbers game when it is actually an emotional, psychological, and deeply human game. The good news: once you understand the psychology behind money, everything changes. You stop fighting yourself. You stop making the same expensive mistakes. You start making decisions that actually serve your long-term happiness and freedom. And that journey begins right now. Let me paint a clear picture with Charlie Munger's story, so you can see exactly what I mean. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner at Berkshire Hathaway, was one of the greatest investors who ever lived. He helped build one of the most successful companies in history. But if you asked him what his greatest financial skill was, he would not talk about complex valuation models or stock picking. He would talk about psychology. Munger famously studied the psychology of human misjudgment. He collected mental models about how people think, how they deceive themselves, and how emotions drive financial decisions. He understood that the real edge in money is not being smarter than everyone else. It is being more rational when everyone else is emotional. That psychological mastery is why he and Buffett could sit through market crashes without selling in panic. It is why they could watch others chase hot trends and simply wait patiently. Their greatest returns came not from brilliant predictions, but from understanding human behavior better than the crowd. You do not need to be a genius investor to apply the same principle. You only need to understand the psychology that drives your own decisions with money. In the rest of this chapter, we will go much deeper. Why your personal experiences shape your entire relationship with money more than any textbook ever could. The dangerous gap between what you know and what you actually do. How emotions quietly control 80% of financial outcomes. A powerful guided exercise to begin uncovering your own hidden money psychology. The first critical mindset shift that separates those who build lasting wealth from those who do but for now. Let this truth settle deep into your bones. The game of money is not won by the person with the highest IQ or the most advanced degree. It is won by the person who understands their own psychology and the psychology of everyone else around them. You have already taken the first step simply by listening with an open mind. Welcome to the real psychology of money. In the coming chapters, we will explore luck versus skill, the trap of never enough, the miracle of compounding, the difference between getting rich and staying rich, the hidden cost of status, the true value of time, and the psychology of long-term thinking. But everything begins with this single realization: behavior beats knowledge. Master your psychology and money stops controlling you. You start controlling money. End of chapter 1. You now understand why the psychology of money matters more than any financial formula. In chapter 2, we will explore the hidden role of luck and risk, and why the difference between a genius and a fool is often just one lucky break. Until then, carry this question with you every day. When I make decisions with money, am I being driven by knowledge or by psychology? Answer honestly. The awareness alone will begin to change everything. This is the infinite library, where ordinary minds become financially wise. Chapter 2: Luck, Risk, and the Hidden Role of Chance. The difference between a genius and a fool is often just one lucky break. Here is how to stop confusing luck with skill. People worship successful investors, entrepreneurs, and billionaires as geniuses who made all the right moves. They study their every decision, copy their strategies, and assume that if they just work harder or get smarter, they will achieve the same results. Yet they never realize how much pure, random luck shaped those outcomes. This illusion creates dangerous overconfidence. When things go well, we credit our brilliance. When things go wrong, we blame bad luck. The result: repeated financial mistakes, crushed expectations, and a lifetime of unnecessary risk. Understand the invisible role of luck and risk so you can make smarter decisions. Protect yourself when luck turns against you, and stop mistaking random chance for personal genius. Bill Gates and a small group of classmates at Lakeside School in the 1960s had access to one of the very first computers in the world, a machine so rare that almost no one else on the planet could touch it. That single stroke of luck, combined with timing and opportunity, changed everything. Without it, the story of Microsoft might never have happened. Gates himself has repeatedly said he was lucky in ways most people never acknowledge. Welcome to Chapter 2 of The Psychology of Money, your full-length audiobook from the infinite library. If you were with me in Chapter 1, you now understand that behavior matters far more than knowledge when it comes to money. Tonight, we go one layer deeper into the psychology that almost no one talks about openly: the hidden, uncomfortable role of luck and risk. This chapter may challenge everything you think you know about success and failure with money, but facing it honestly is the only way to make wiser decisions and protect the wealth you build. Let's begin with a simple but powerful question. What if the difference between your financial life and the life of the person you admire most is not intelligence, discipline, or hard work, but a few random breaks that no one likes to admit? Most of us hate this idea. We want to believe that success is earned and failure is deserved. It makes the world feel fair and controllable. But the moment you accept that luck and risk play a massive role, everything changes. You become humbler when things go right and kinder to yourself when things go wrong. Most importantly, you start making decisions that account for uncertainty instead of pretending it doesn't exist. Silently destroys more portfolios than any market crash ever could. People confuse luck with skill. They see a friend get rich on a single stock or crypto bet and think, if they can do it, so can I. They watch billionaires on stage and assume they can simply copy their playbook. They never pause to ask how much of that success was pure chance. The result: overconfidence, reckless risks, and devastating losses when the luck inevitably runs out. The truly wise understand both sides of the coin. Luck and risk are two sides of the same thing. The same force that can make you rich can also wipe you out. The difference is how you position yourself to benefit from good luck while protecting yourself from bad luck. Bill Gates' story is one of the clearest examples in modern history. As a teenager in the late 1960s, Gates attended Lakeside School, one of the very few schools in the world that had a computer terminal connected to a mainframe. At that time, computers were enormous, expensive, and almost non-existent for private use. Gates and a handful of classmates were given unlimited access to this machine, something that was statistically almost impossible for a kid in Seattle at that time. That single stroke of luck gave him thousands of hours of programming experience before most people had even seen a computer. Combine that luck with his drive and timing, and Microsoft was born. Gates has always been honest about this. He was extraordinarily lucky. He has said many times that if he had been born 5 years earlier or later, or gone to a different school, the story would have been completely different. The lesson is not that Gates didn't work hard. He did. The lesson is that hard work alone was not enough. Luck created the opening. His psychology, his willingness to seize that luck and keep learning, turned it into something extraordinary. You do not need to be the next Bill Gates. You only need to stop pretending that luck plays no role in your own financial life. Once you accept that, you start making decisions that are robust to both good luck and bad luck. Right now, I want you to do a quick but powerful reflection with me. Think about one major financial success you have had in your life, big or small. Now ask yourself honestly, how much of that success was skill and hard work, and how much was simply being in the right place at the right time? Be brutally honest. No one is listening but you. Now think about one financial setback or mistake. Ask yourself, how much of that was truly my fault, and how much was bad luck or circumstances outside my control? This simple exercise begins to free you from the illusion of total control. It brings humility when things go well and compassion when they don't. In the rest of this chapter, we will go much deeper. The dangerous psychology of hindsight bias, and how it tricks us into thinking we are smarter than we are, why risk and luck are two sides of the same coin, and why most people only see one side. How to position yourself to benefit from good luck while surviving bad luck, the critical difference between playing the odds and gambling, a guided exercise to audit your own relationship with luck and risk. Real listener stories from the infinite library who changed their entire financial life once they stopped confusing luck with skill. But for now, let this truth settle deep into your bones. The game of money is not a pure meritocracy. It is a game played with both skill and chance. The wisest players do not deny luck. They respect it, prepare for it, and position themselves to survive when it turns against them and to thrive when it turns in their favor. You have already taken the first step simply by acknowledging this reality. Welcome to a more honest, more powerful understanding of money. In the coming chapters, we will explore the trap of never enough, the miracle of compounding, the difference between getting rich and staying rich, the hidden cost of status, the true value of time, and the psychology of long-term thinking. But everything builds on this foundational truth. Luck and risk are real. The more clearly you see them, the wiser your decisions become. End of Chapter 2. You now understand the hidden role of luck and risk, and why confusing them with skill is one of the most expensive psychological mistakes in money. In Chapter 3, we will explore one of the most dangerous forces in human psychology, the feeling that you never have enough. Until then, carry this question with you every day. Am I making this financial decision based on skill, or am I secretly hoping for luck? Answer honestly. The awareness alone will protect you more than any investment strategy ever could. Chapter 3. Never enough, the dangerous psychology of greed. The moment you think, I'll be happy when I have just a little more, you've already lost the game. No matter how much money people make, they still feel poor. Their desires keep rising faster than their wealth. A salary of $50,000 feels insufficient. Then $100,000 feels insufficient. Then $500,000 feels insufficient. The goalposts move the instant they are reached. This silent psychological trap destroys happiness, ruins relationships, and leads countless people into financial ruin, all because they never learned when enough actually is. Master the psychology of enough, so you can finally enjoy what you already have instead of endlessly chasing more. The single most powerful mindset shift for both wealth and peace of mind. Rajat Gupta rose to become the head of McKinsey, one of the most prestigious consulting firms in the world. He had hundreds of millions of dollars, private jets, luxury homes, and global influence. Yet in 2012, he was convicted of insider trading, risking everything for a little more. The man who had made it, by every external measure, still felt he didn't have enough. That single psychological flaw cost him his freedom, reputation, and fortune. Welcome to Chapter 3 of The Psychology of Money, your full-length audiobook from the Infinite Library. If you were with me in Chapters 1 and 2, you now understand that behavior matters more than knowledge, and that luck and risk are far more powerful than most people admit. Tonight, we confront one of the most dangerous and least discussed forces in human psychology, the feeling that you never have enough. This chapter may feel uncomfortable. It is meant to. Because the moment you truly understand never enough, you gain the power to break free from it. Let's begin with a simple but profound question. When will you finally feel like you have enough? Most people answer this question with a number. When I have $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. But the terrifying truth is that the number keeps moving. The goalposts are on wheels. The instant you reach them, they roll forward again. This is not a personal failing. It is human nature. Evolution wired our brains to always want more food, more status, more resources, because in ancient times that desire helped us survive. Today, the same wiring makes us chase more money, more possessions, more success long after we already have everything we need. People who are objectively rich still feel poor. They work harder, take bigger risks, sacrifice relationships and health, all in pursuit of a feeling that never arrives. They die with full bank accounts and empty souls, never having enjoyed what they already had. Rajat Gupta's story is one of the clearest modern examples. As managing director of McKinsey, Gupta was at the absolute top of the global elite. He had wealth most people can only dream of. Yet in 2009-2010, He participated in illegal insider trading, passing confidential information to hedge fund manager Raj Rajaratnam. He was already a multimillionaire many times over. He did not need the money, he simply could not feel enough. When the FBI arrested him, he lost everything: his reputation, his freedom, his legacy. All because the voice in his head kept whispering, "Just a little more." You do not have to become the next Rajat Gupta to suffer from the same psychology. The same force operates in smaller ways every day. The person who upgrades their car the moment they get a raise, the couple who stretches their budget to buy a bigger house, the investor who risks their entire portfolio, chasing one bigger win. The antidote is not to earn less or want less. The antidote is to consciously decide what enough means to you, and then protect that decision with everything you have. Right now, I want you to do a powerful reflection with me. Close your eyes if you can safely do so. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and every single financial goal you currently have is already achieved. Your bank account, your investments, your income, everything is exactly where you say you want it to be. Now ask yourself honestly, would I finally feel content? Or would I immediately start wanting just a little bit more? Be brutally honest. This single question reveals whether you are chasing a number or chasing a feeling. The moment you can look at your current life and say, "This is enough for me right now," you become truly free. In the rest of this chapter, we will go much deeper. The neuroscience of why never enough is wired into your brain, what a social comparison silently raises the bar every single day, the difference between healthy ambition and toxic greed, practical exercises to define your own personal enough number and protect it, real listener stories from the infinite library who broke free from the never enough trap and finally found peace with money. But for now, let this truth settle deep into your bones. The happiest and most financially secure people on earth are not the ones with the most money. They are the ones who decided, consciously and clearly, that they already have enough. You do not need to wait until you are a millionaire to feel this freedom. You can choose it today. In the coming chapters, we will explore the miracle of compounding, the difference between getting rich and staying rich, the hidden cost of status, the true value of time, and the psychology of long-term thinking. But everything builds on this foundational realization. Enough is a decision, not a number. Make that decision, protect it, live by it. Your future self and your bank account will thank you. End of chapter 3. You now understand one of the most dangerous psychological traps in money, the feeling that you never have enough. Chapter 4. The miracle of compounding, the most powerful force in finance, the greatest financial superpower, is something so boring most people ignore it. Yet it turns modest savers into millionaires. People chase hot stocks, crypto moonshots, and get-rich-quick schemes while completely ignoring the one force that quietly builds real, lasting wealth over time. They want excitement. They want fast results. They scroll past the simple truth that patience and consistency beat brilliance and complexity every single time. The result? They stay broke while the quiet, patient ones become wealthy without ever looking flashy. Unlock the psychology and mathematics of compounding so patience becomes your greatest investment, the single most powerful force that turns ordinary saving into extraordinary wealth. Ronald Reed was a janitor and gas station attendant who lived in a small house in Vermont. He never earned a high salary, never drove a fancy car, and never bragged about money. When he died in 2014, he left behind $8 million, almost all of it from decades of patient investing in blue-chip stocks and letting compounding do the work. His secret wasn't genius stock picking. It was simply starting early, staying consistent, and never interrupting the miracle of compounding. Welcome to Chapter 4 of The Psychology of Money, your full-length audiobook from the Infinite Library. If you have been with me through the first 3 chapters, you now understand that behavior beats knowledge, luck and risk are real. And the feeling of never enough is one of the most dangerous traps in money. Tonight, we turn to something far more hopeful and far more powerful, the miracle of compounding. This may be the most important financial concept you will ever learn, not because it is complicated, but because it is so simple that most people dismiss it. Compounding is the idea that money earns money, and then that new money earns even more money, and the process repeats, creating exponential growth over time. Albert Einstein reportedly called it the 8th wonder of the world. Yet the same force that can make you rich is the same force most people never given enough time to work. People want wealth fast. They see a friend make 300% on a meme stock or a crypto coin and think, I need that kind of return. They chase excitement while ignoring the quiet, steady force that has created more millionaires than any trading strategy in history. Ronald Read's story proves how powerful and how accessible compounding really is. He worked ordinary jobs his entire life. He saved diligently. He invested in high-quality companies and simply left the money alone for decades. No fancy trading, no leverage, no get-rich-quick schemes, just patience and time. When he passed away, his estate was worth nearly $8 million, almost all of it from compounding. The lesson is not that you need to be a janitor or live frugally forever. The lesson is that the mathematics of compounding rewards time and consistency far more than it rewards brilliance or timing the market. Here is the simple truth most financial education never emphasizes enough. Time is the real currency of wealth. The earlier you start, the more powerful compounding becomes. Even small amounts, given enough time, become life-changing sums. But the moment you interrupt the process by spending the money, panic selling during a crash, or chasing the next hot trend, you break the miracle right now. I want you to do a powerful visualization with me. Imagine 2 people who both start investing at age 25. Person A invests $5,000 per year and earns an average 8% return. Person B waits until age 35 to start, then invests $10,000 per year at the same 8% return. Who ends up with more money by age 65? The answer will surprise most people. Person A, the one who started earlier with smaller amounts, ends up significantly ahead. That is the power of compounding. Time is more valuable than extra money later. This is not theory. This is mathematics. In the rest of this chapter, we will go much deeper. The exact psychology that makes people interrupt the compounding process. Why get rich quick thinking is the enemy of real wealth, how to protect your compounding machine during market crashes. And emotional storms, practical exercises to calculate your own compounding future and feel the power of patience. Real listener stories from the infinite library who started small, stayed consistent, and watched compounding turn modest savings into life-changing wealth. But for now, let this truth settle deep into your bones. The greatest financial superpower is not intelligence. It is not timing the market. It is not having a high income. It is patience. Give compounding enough time and it does the heavy lifting for you. Interrupt it and you start over from zero. You do not need to be brilliant. You do not need to be lucky. You only need to start, and then refuse to stop. In the coming chapters, we will explore the difference between getting rich and staying rich, the hidden cost of status, the true value of time, and the psychology of long-term thinking. But everything builds on this single realization. Compounding is patient. Are you? Choose patience, protect it, trust the process. Your future self will thank you more than you can imagine. End of chapter 4. You now understand the miracle of compounding, the most powerful force in finance, and the psychology required to let it work for you. In chapter 5, we will explore one of the most important distinctions in money: getting wealthy versus staying wealthy, two completely different mindsets. Until then, carry this question with you every day. Am I giving my money enough time to work its magic? Answer honestly. Then act accordingly. This is the infinite library, where ordinary minds become financially wise. Chapter 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Getting rich is about taking risks. Staying rich is about avoiding ruin, two completely different mindsets. Many people finally build real wealth only to lose it all in a single bad decision, a market crash, or one moment of arrogance. They master the psychology of getting ahead, but never learn the psychology of staying ahead. They celebrate the big win, then immediately take on more risk, spend more, or assume the good times will last forever. The result is heartbreaking. Fortunes built over decades disappear in months because they never developed the humility, paranoia, and discipline required to keep what they earned. Learn the exact mindset shift that separates those who get wealthy from those who stay wealthy for generations. The difference between aggressive offense and disciplined defense. The Rothschild family built one of the greatest banking fortunes in history and managed to preserve and grow it across centuries of wars, revolutions, and market crashes. Their secret was not endless risk-taking. It was an almost paranoid focus on survival, humility, and protecting the family wealth across generations. They understood that getting rich and staying rich require two entirely different psychological operating systems. Welcome to Chapter 5 of The Psychology of Money, your full-length audiobook from the Infinite Library. If you have been with me through the first 4 chapters, you now understand the psychology behind money, the hidden role of luck and risk, the trap of never enough, and the quiet miracle of compounding. Tonight, we tackle one of the most important and most overlooked distinctions in the entire world of money: the difference between getting wealthy and staying wealthy. This chapter may save you more money than any investment strategy you will ever learn. Getting rich and staying rich are two completely different games that require two completely different mindsets. Most people only ever learn the first game. They focus on offense, taking risks, seizing opportunities, pushing hard. They celebrate when they finally make it, but they never learn the second game, defense, the psychology of survival, humility, and protecting what you have built. Many people finally reach financial success only to lose it all later. They make one reckless investment, live too large, or simply assume the good times will last forever. They treat their wealth as proof of their genius instead of a fragile gift that must be guarded. The result is a heartbreaking cycle: build, celebrate, lose, repeat. The Rothschild family's story shows what is possible when you master both games. Over 2 centuries ago, Mayer Amschel Rothschild built a banking empire. His 5 sons spread across Europe and grew the fortune dramatically. But the family's real genius was not in getting rich, it was in staying rich. They developed strict rules about preserving capital, avoiding unnecessary risk, and thinking in generations instead of quarters. They survived wars, revolutions, market panics, and countless attempts to destroy them. Their wealth endured not because they were the most aggressive investors, but because they were the most disciplined protectors of what they already had. You do not need to be a Rothschild to apply the same principle. You only need to understand that the skills that got you wealthy are not the same skills that will keep you wealthy. Getting wealthy usually requires optimism, risk-taking, and a willingness to be wrong sometimes. Staying wealthy requires humility, paranoia about ruin, and a deep respect for how quickly things can go wrong. The person who gets rich often thinks, "I can afford to take this risk." The person who stays rich thinks, "I cannot afford to lose what I already have." This psychological shift is everything. Right now, I want you to do a powerful self-audit with me. Think about your current financial life. Ask yourself honestly, am I still playing the get-rich game, constantly chasing bigger wins and taking on more risk? Or have I shifted into the stay-rich game, focusing on protection, humility, and long-term survival? Be brutally honest. There is no judgment here, only awareness. The moment you recognize which game you are playing, you gain the power to choose the right mindset for the stage you are in. In the rest of this chapter, we will go much deeper. The exact psychological traits that help you get wealthy, and why they become dangerous later. The survival mindset that protects wealth across decades and generations. Why humility and paranoia are your greatest assets. Once you have something to lose, practical rules for transitioning from offense to defense. Without losing your drive, real listener stories from the infinite library who built wealth and then learned, sometimes the hard way, how to keep it. But for now, let this truth settle deep into your bones. Getting wealthy is difficult. Staying wealthy is even more difficult. The skills are not the same. The psychology is not the same. Master both and you don't just build wealth, you keep it. You pass it on. You sleep peacefully at night. You have already learned how to get ahead. Now learn how to stay ahead. In the coming chapters, we will explore the hidden cost of status, the true value of time and freedom, and the psychology of long-term thinking. But everything builds on this critical realization. Getting rich is about offense. Staying rich is about defense. Play the right game at the right time and money stops controlling you. You finally control money. End of chapter 5. You now understand one of the most important distinctions in money, getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. In chapter 6, we will explore the man in the car paradox. Why people buy expensive things to impress people they don't even like, and how to break free from the status game. Until then, carry this question with you every day. Am I still playing the get-rich game, or am I ready to play the stay-rich game? Answer honestly. The right mindset at the right time is the difference between temporary wealth and lasting wealth. Chapter 6. The man in the car paradox, status, and the true cost of money. The person driving the expensive car is rarely trying to impress you. They're trying to impress someone who isn't even looking. People spend money. They don't have to buy things. They don't need to impress people they don't like. They stretch their budget for the bigger house, the luxury watch, the flashy car, the designer clothes, all in the hope that others will finally see them as successful. Yet the moment they get those things, the high fades and the comparison game simply moves to the next level. This silent psychological trap steals both money and happiness, leaving people richer on the outside but poorer on the inside. Break free from the status game once and for all and discover what money is really for: freedom, peace of mind, and control over your own time. A man pulls up next to you in a $300,000 Ferrari. He revs the engine, hoping you'll notice, but you don't care. You're thinking about your own life, your own problems. He spent a fortune trying to impress people who aren't even looking. A perfect illustration of how status-seeking quietly destroys wealth and happiness. Welcome to Chapter 6 of the Psychology of Money, your full-length audiobook from the infinite library. If you have been with me through the first 5 chapters, you now understand the psychology behind money, the role of luck and risk, the trap of never enough, the miracle of compounding, and the critical difference between getting wealthy and staying wealthy. Tonight, we confront one of the most expensive and least admitted psychological traps in money, the status game. This chapter may sting a little. That sting is the sound of truth. Let's begin with a simple but powerful story that reveals everything. Imagine you are driving down the road. A bright red Ferrari pulls up beside you at the stoplight. The driver revs the engine. He glances over, hoping you notice the car, the watch, the lifestyle. He wants you to think he has made it, but here's the paradox: you don't care. You are thinking about your own day, your own problems, your own goals. The man in the Ferrari spent an enormous amount of money trying to impress someone who isn't even looking. And the person he is really trying to impress, that person is doing the exact same thing, chasing the next status symbol, always one purchase away from feeling enough. This is the man in the car paradox. It explains why so many people who finally get money still feel unhappy. They use their wealth not for freedom, but for signaling. They buy things to prove their status instead of using money to buy back their time and peace of mind. Status is a game you can never truly win. The goalposts always move. The moment you buy the nicer car, someone else buys a nicer one. The moment you move into the bigger house, someone else moves into a bigger one. You are running on a treadmill that never stops. Spending money, you don't have to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. And the cruelest part, the people you are trying to impress are too busy trying to impress others to even notice you. This is not a judgment. It is human nature. We are wired to care about status because, for most of human history, higher status meant better survival and better mating opportunities. But in the modern world, that same wiring makes us miserable. The real purpose of money is not to look rich. The real purpose of money is to give you control over your time, your choices, and your peace of mind. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop buying things to impress strangers and start using money to create a life you don't need to escape from. Right now, I want you to do a powerful self-reflection with me. Think about the last major purchase you made that was partly, or mostly, for status: the car upgrade, the designer item, the bigger house, the expensive vacation you posted about. Ask yourself honestly, who was I really trying to impress? Did it actually make me happier long-term? Or did the happiness fade within weeks while the payments continued? Be brutally honest. No one is listening but you. This single question can save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over the rest of your life. In the rest of this chapter, we will go much deeper. The neuroscience of why status-seeking feels so addictive, how social media has turned the status game into a 24/7 competition, the difference between genuine self-worth and external validation, practical exercises to break free from the status trap, and redefine what money is really for real listener stories from the infinite library who stopped playing the game and finally started enjoying their wealth. But for now, let this truth settle deep into your bones. The man in the Ferrari is not trying to impress you. He is trying to impress a version of himself that he thinks other people will admire. Stop playing that game. Use your money for freedom instead of for applause. The peace you buy with that decision is worth more than any car, watch, or house ever could be. In the coming chapters, we will explore the true value of time and freedom, and the psychology of long-term thinking. But everything builds on this realization. Money is a tool for buying freedom, not for buying status. Choose freedom, protect it, live by it. Your future self will thank you every single day. End of chapter 6. You now understand the man in the car paradox and the hidden cost of status seeking. In chapter 7, we will explore the real value of money, the control it gives you over your own time, and the psychology of freedom. Until then, carry this question with you every day. Am I buying this with my money, or am I trying to buy status with my money? Chapter 7, Saving Time. And the psychology of freedom. The real value of money is not what it buys. It's the control it gives you over your time. Society constantly pushes us to spend more, upgrade more, and consume more. We are told that saving is boring, that living for today is the only way to be happy, and that the purpose of money is to show the world how successful we are. As a result, most people trade their future freedom for present status, working longer hours, carrying more debt, and feeling trapped even when their bank account looks healthy. They have money, but they have no time. They have possessions, but they have no freedom. Master the psychology of saving so you can buy back your time, create true freedom, and live life on your own terms instead of someone else's schedule. A high-earning executive once told a friend, "I finally made it. I have everything I ever wanted." Yet he was working 80-hour weeks, missed his children's childhoods, and felt exhausted and trapped. Meanwhile, a quiet saver who lived modestly and invested consistently reached the point where he could walk away from his job at age 45 and spend his days exactly as he pleased. One had money but no time. The other had less money but complete freedom. Welcome to Chapter 7 of The Psychology of Money, your full-length audiobook from the Infinite Library. If you have been with me through the first 6 chapters, you now understand the psychology behind money, the role of luck and risk, the trap of never enough, the miracle of compounding, the difference between getting and staying wealthy, and the hidden cost of chasing status. Tonight, we reach one of the most liberating truths in the entire book. Money's greatest value is not the things it buys. It is the freedom it gives you over your own time. This is the chapter where money finally stops feeling like a scoreboard and starts feeling like a tool for a better life. Let's begin with a simple but life-changing question. What would you do if you didn't have to work for money anymore? Most people answer with a list of dreams: travel, spend time with family, pursue hobbies, help others, or simply rest. Yet very few ever reach that point because they never learn to value time as the ultimate currency. Society teaches us the opposite. It glorifies hustle. It celebrates the person who works the longest hours and buys the most expensive things. It tells us that saving is for people who aren't ambitious enough. The result is millions of people who are successful on paper but feel trapped in golden handcuffs, too much lifestyle and not enough freedom. Saving is not deprivation. Saving is buying your own freedom. Every dollar you save and invest is a dollar that eventually works for you instead of you working for it. It is a dollar that buys you the right to say no to a job you hate, to take a month off when you need it, or to walk away entirely when you are ready. That is real wealth. The executive in the example had all the visible signs of success: big salary, nice house, luxury car. Yet he was a prisoner of his own lifestyle. He couldn't afford to slow down because every expense required him to keep earning at the highest level. The quiet saver, on the other hand, chose a different path. He lived below his means, invested consistently, and let compounding do its work. When he reached financial independence, he didn't have to ask anyone for permission to live life on his own terms. He had bought his time back. This is the psychology most financial advice never talks about. Saving is not about being cheap. It is about being free. Right now, I want you to do a powerful visualization with me. Imagine 2 versions of your future self at age 65. Version A. You have a big house, nice cars, and all the status symbols, but you are still working because your lifestyle requires it. Your time is not your own. Version B. You live a simpler but comfortable life. You have enough invested that you no longer need to work unless you want to. Your time belongs to you completely. Which version feels freer? Which version feels happier? The difference between these 2 futures is not how much you earned. It is how much you kept and let compound. In the rest of this chapter, we will go much deeper. The psychology that makes spending feel good in the moment but painful in the long run. Why saving is the ultimate form of self-respect and self-love. How to reframe saving from deprivation. 2. Buying freedom. Practical exercises to calculate exactly how much time each dollar you save is buying you real listener stories from the Infinite Library who shifted from high-spending lifestyles to time-rich freedom and never looked back but for now. Let this truth settle deep into your bones. The richest people in the world are not those with the biggest bank accounts. They are the ones who control their own time. Every dollar you save today is a vote for your future freedom. Every dollar you spend on status is a vote to stay chained to the system a little longer. Choose freedom, protect it, live by it. In the final chapter, we will explore the psychology of market cycles and long-term thinking, the ultimate test of everything you have learned. But everything builds on this realization. Money buys time. Time buys freedom. Freedom is the real wealth. Start buying your freedom today. The compound interest on that decision will be the greatest return of your life. End of Chapter 7. You now understand the true value of money, the control it gives you over your own time, and the psychology of real freedom. In Chapter 8, we will explore the psychology of market cycles and long-term thinking, how to stay calm when everyone else is emotional, and let patience win. Until then, carry this question with you every single day. Chapter 8. The Man in the Car Paradox. Picture this. A man pulls up next to you in a $250,000 Lamborghini. You glance over. Your heart races for half a second. But here's the truth almost nobody admits. You're not impressed by the car. You're impressed by what you think that car says about the man inside it. Wealth is what you don't see. The real rich people are almost never the ones who look rich. The real problem is that we spend our entire lives performing wealth for an audience that doesn't care. We buy bigger houses, flashier cars, designer clothes, and luxury watches, not because we enjoy them, but because we want strangers to believe we've made it. Meanwhile, the people who are actually wealthy are quietly laughing because they understand the game. This is the final and perhaps most uncomfortable truth in the psychology of money, the man in the car paradox. Most of us don't want to be rich. We want to look rich. We want the respect, the envy, the status that we believe expensive things will bring us. So we stretch our budgets, take on debt, and buy things that scream success to people we don't even know. But the truly wealthy person, they drive a 10-year-old Toyota. They live in the same modest house for 30 years. Their watch costs less than your phone. And they sleep like a baby every single night. Why? Because they understand one simple rule: wealth is invisible. The money that actually matters is the money you don't spend. It's the investments no one sees compounding in the background. It's the freedom to say no to things you don't want to do. It's the peace that comes from knowing your future is secure even if nobody ever notices. The man in the Lamborghini is often renting the car, or worse, he's deeply in debt just to keep up the image. He's trading real long-term wealth for a few seconds of admiration from strangers at a red light. Meanwhile, the quiet millionaire next door, the one you walk past every day without noticing, has been buying boring index funds for 30 years, living below his means, and never once felt the need to prove anything to anyone. This paradox explains why so many high-income people end up broke. They earn a lot, but they spend even more trying to signal success. Their entire paycheck disappears into the performance of wealth instead of the creation of it. The moment you internalize this lesson, your entire relationship with money changes. You stop buying things to impress people you don't like. You stop caring what the person in the next car thinks. You start building wealth that nobody can see until one day they look at your life and wonder how you seem so calm, so free, and so in control. Real wealth is quiet. Real wealth is humble. Real wealth doesn't need an audience. And the beautiful part, once you stop performing for the world, you finally become free to build the kind of money that actually lasts, and the kind of life that actually matters. This is where the psychology of money comes full circle. It was never about the numbers. It was never about looking successful. It was always about becoming the kind of person who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. Wealth is invisible. The richest people rarely look rich. Stop chasing the appearance of wealth and start building the quiet, invisible reality of it. The man in the expensive car is often the one with the least money. Ronald Reed, the janitor and gas station attendant we met in Chapter 1, died with an $8 million fortune. He lived in the same small house for 50 years, drove an old Toyota, and never once tried to look rich. At the exact same time, many high-earning doctors, lawyers, and executives who made millions during their careers died broke because they spent everything trying to look successful in the cars they drove and the houses they lived in. Same world, same opportunities. One man understood the paradox. The other spent his life performing for an audience that never cared. Thank you for listening to The Psychology of Money, full audiobook on the Infinite Library. Which chapter hit you the hardest? Drop the number in the comments below. If you want more wisdom like this, subscribe and turn on notifications. The library is infinite.